First time in the locker room in the year 2026. It's a feel-good Friday morning here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. We love sports as well. You already know every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15. This is what we get to do. Dive into the beautiful world of sports. Ayokunmi here. And I'm having a swell morning so far, and it's about to get better because we get to talk about sports. You get to join us as well and make it an amazing Friday morning. Of course, in the locker room, I never do this alone because I have joining me, even though not in person, but still, her presence looms large. The one and only Tega Supreme. Tega, good morning to you and Happy New Year.
Good morning, Ayokunmi. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. 2026. Such a good year already.
World Cup year.
Such a good year already. So what's happening 2026? Oh yeah, there's so much to talk about. Arsenal fans have started on the best note. Last night, one of their undercover agents did a good job at the Stadium of Light. We'll be talking about that this morning. All right. We'll also talk about what's coming this weekend for Chelsea fans. I've said it, that club is too political. That's why that club has no culture and tradition. But their style is ruthlessness, but there's no culture and tradition. It's a very political situation. We'll talk about what's going on there, who's out, who may be in, when we're talking about Chelsea. We'll also touch on the African Cup of Nations. What is happening? Business has started. All right. So all of that business, we'll talk about it. And then the tennis season. Yes. So that's how short the tennis season break is. The tennis season starts today. Just so people know.
It's still
Tennis
2nd of
players,
January.
my darling, tennis players spent Christmas and New Year in strange places. That's, when they tell you that the tennis season is too long, you're like, but they're paying you 6 million for playing for 1 week. These people they are they are ready to. The United Cup starts today in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, which means that Coco Golf, Taylor Fritz, all the tennis, Naomi Osaka, all of them, they were in Australia for New Year. That's where they spend. So I agree with the tennis players. The tennis season is too short. It's too long.
It's too long.
They have to find a way. It's too long. They already by Christmas they're already on the move. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about the United Cup starting today. All of that and more coming up inside the locker room. But before we do any talking, please, Ayokomi, tell them how they could be a part of the locker room today.
All right, I thought you'd never ask. You can join us in the locker room this morning by sending your messages on WhatsApp or leaving your comments on YouTube as well. YouTube, you can find us streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. On WhatsApp, the number is 0911 Just leave your messages. You know we love to hear from you always, always. All right, Tega, let's begin talking about what's going down in the AFCON, some Bas and some Boost, especially in Gabon, as the Gabonese government have announced the suspension of the national team, the sacking of the coach, and kicked Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang off the squad in the wake of 3 defeats at the Africa Cup of Nations finals. Talk about throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
No, he was done. He was like, everybody out. No. Everybody out. Baby, bathwater, bathtub, everybody outside. Look, truth be told, this is government interference, but also you have to think of it that Gabon is thinking about the fact that they pay for their football, and the disgrace was a bit too much. And I think for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, it appeared as if, the team lost their first 2 matches in which he played, carrying an injury. Remember, I told you that he was not even supposed to play that first match at all, but somehow he was on the pitch. So he did put his career on the line, and he's not a young boy. To see that his country came through, carrying an injury. They did well in their first match. They lost by a single goal. In their second match, it was horrible because there was a fight back. They could have come up with a draw against Mozambique, but again, they lost 3-2, and then their third match was pretty much done. By which time, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang had gone back to his club for assessments and all of that. Remember, like I said, he was carrying an injury. So,
Right.
but it seemed as if you are the captain of this team. Why would you abandon your ship? And so yes, everybody has a lot of things to say about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but I don't forget that he was playing with an injury that his club side would have said, "Do not play."
True.
So
True.
people don't remember your sacrifices; they just remember all the assessments and judgments, and everybody's writing notes. Oh, he's the captain of the team. How dare he leave? He's injured. All right. So I think sometimes we need to extend grace to these footballers. But yes, it was such a poor performance, bottom of the group, in a group that had a team like Mozambique, and the government was just like, this is national disgrace. Because ultimately you are ambassadors. So they've taken them out of their post and they're going to see what they can do about it. The problem with that is the hammer of FIFA has to fall on the country.
Mm.
So it shouldn't have been the government sacking everybody. I think the official reports that would have come out should have been the Football Federation disbands the team.
Hmm.
That way, it's easier to handle.
But now it's a deeper issue.
Yeah, because government interference is government interference. The minute you say it is the government that disbanded the team, it becomes government interference. What they should have said is the Football Federation disbands national team looking to start from scratch. It's just the person that fired can be the same. The wording could have been different. This is communication 101.
Clearly, they missed that class.
so so it's going to be tough because yeah, if the news keeps going like that, yeah, FIFA has to suspend them. It's government interference. And then
Hmm.
Fifth Pro, of course, will have something to say about it because they are representing the players. And you don't just discard players because you had a bad result. So I expect some backlash in the coming days from Fifth Pro, from FIFA, from all the bodies that are supposed to be
Yeah.
safeguarding footballers and the football federation. But yeah, what is ultimately happening in Gabon is that there was a tantrum thrown and everybody's sleeping outside. They have locked their door and everybody's outside.
Oh, goodness. Well, I wish them all the best, really. I mean, good luck to Gabon and their football. Well, away from a team that is out of the AFCON, let's talk about the teams that made it into the next round of the AFCON, and a star-studded cast led by Achraf Hakimi, Mohamed Salah, and Victor Osimhen switched to knockout fare from Saturday when the Nations Cup resumes in Morocco.
Yes, so this is a huge one. Like a lot of people would have said, most most of the big teams made it through to the next round. A few of them will be meeting each other, which is the good news. Because I was expecting a lot more, but there's still some. I mean, think about it. Tanzania came into the round of 16 with on 2 points.
Like,
So at first I was like, no, 2 points is not going to get you in. Then when I saw the way the results were going, I was like, 2 points could get you in. Just has to be a two good 2 points with a favorable goal difference. And yes,
mm,
Tanzania came in to the round of 16 on 2 points. So I guess that's why we're not seeing a lot of big clashes. But yeah, Senegal takes on Sudan tomorrow. Mali takes on Tunisia also tomorrow. Morocco takes on Tanzania on Sunday. South Africa versus Cameroon. That's one of the fixtures of the round. South Africa versus Cameroon on Sunday. Egypt versus Benin on Monday. Nigeria, Mozambique, not one of the fixtures, but could be a tricky tie for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That one is happening on Monday too. Algeria takes on DR Congo. That's going to be another
that'll be a
fixture of the
test.
Yeah, that's another fixture of the round. And then Ivory Coast versus Burkina Faso. Now that's going to be an interesting one because of the players involved. So the fixtures that you'll be looking out for: Algeria, Congo, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and South Africa versus Cameroon. Of course, if you're Nigerian, you'll be watching Mozambique for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And so those are the big fixture of the ties. The good news, well, one of the updates is we eventually saw Hakimi, and he can run on the ankle, so he's good.
Good to go.
He dodged one or two tackles, but he was good to go. You know,
Mm.
he had PTSD, but it was good to go. All
I can
right.
just imagine.
Um, yeah, that was one of it. But Algeria taking on Congo, now that would be very interesting. Again, because I was remember when I was talking about the Algerians and how they wanted to perform better, especially after uh, their bad results since 2019.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for them, they draw DR Congo, which is a tough match to play, especially in the form that DR Congo are in. Remember how they came in through the playoffs, and how they started the African Cup of Nations. Now, Algeria has a style that they could wumble and fumble to the results, but when you look at the athleticism of DR Congo, the pace that they have, the strength that they have, and then the talent with the likes of Bakambu and Wan-Bissaka sending those crosses for the wings, and Bakonga, pushing into the front of the 18-yard box. And the fact that the Algeria defense looks a little shaky.
Like
I
Super
think
Eagles
for me,
defense.
that's the biggest thing. Their defense looks a little porous. And you've seen their three matches, and they came out of the group well. But ultimately, I think they're the only group apart from Nigeria to also come out of the group on 9 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, but when you look at the performance on the pitch, not just the result, and you say that defense looks a little leaky, and if DR Congo have a good day, they could be smiling to the bank. So that's going to be an interesting fixture to see. Let's see how they sort that out. For Cameroon, South Africa, that will be also interesting because South Africa, uh, they play good football. Cameroon are not in the best form of their lives. Imagine even on the day their last match, at some point they were trailing, then they came back to win, but unfortunately they just couldn't win the group. Cote d'Ivoire is, they started that thing that they did last time out in 2023.
Getting stronger.
Yes, getting stronger as the game goes, and then that come from behind win that they are doing. It's not funny anymore. Now they don't look a good opponent you want to play against. They look too strong under fence. So it's going to be interesting to see. So South Africa, Cameroon, I'd like to see how that pans out. Algeria, and then Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso would also be interesting. I know some Ivorians were trying to avoid Burkina Faso because they are a little too close to home. You know
Mm,
how you want to avoid people that know you too well. But
right.
if you look at them on paper, I think Cote d'Ivoire is just going to come out of this somehow.
Mm.
Um, they're too strong a team. They have strength in depth. They have players on the pitch. They have experience, and they have that resilience that make them a little unbeatable. So I think they'll come out of that. So let's see how it goes. But for Nigeria, Mozambique, some people are saying it's a slippery slope because you saw the Mozambique game against Gabon. They scored three
Yeah.
goals there. You saw the Mozambique game against who did they play? Ivory Coast.
Yeah, they were in Ivory Coast group.
Yeah, they're in Ivory Coast group. You saw their game. Was it Ivory Coast they played last or Cameroon they played last year? And they could have gotten a few more goals. They just don't have the quality inside. But the way they play with their wingers and the way Nigeria struggle with balls that is crossing in front of your goalkeeper, whichever goalkeeper it is, whether it is the chief commander in chief or it is Francis Uzoho.
Commander in Chief.
Yeah, I don't know what else to call him. Once the ball crosses in front of them, they are very shaky. So Mozambique could be a tough nut for Nigeria to crack, especially with the way they use their wings. So let's see how it pans out. But it's a great lineup of round of 16 matches. Let's hear your
Yes.
thoughts. What do you think? Nigeria, Mozambique. How do you think that would turn out? The numbers to send your messages to are
0911-999-0981. Also, leave your comments on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. We'll take that and more on the other side of this breather here on the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Mozambique, yeah, Mozambique, yeah, Mozambique, yeah, Mozambique, yeah. We should beat those ones now. Although, anything can happen.
ideally on paper we should beat them. On paper that's one of the easier fixtures. If you ask me, that's what I'm saying. It's one of the
Right,
easier
right, right.
fixtures. Yeah. It's just that you know our defense, their wing play, it leaves us a little so, and it's all these slippery slopes I'm very questionable about. And I also hate the fact that Nigeria will look at a fixture and be comfortable. That's the biggest mistake. Because think about it, when we went 3-0 against
Tunisia.
Tunisia. Complacency setting. It's the same thing. It's just that complacency is a factor. The fact that our defense is not solid, and the fact that our goalkeeper has brain farts. Our number one goalkeeper has brain farts.
All right, time to get back in. Should we take the Osaka story real quick? Oh, enter Chelsea.
Please, let's take the Saka story very quickly.
Osaka, all right. It's tennis. All right, welcome back into the locker room on a feel-good Friday morning here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. First locker room of the year 2026, and it feels really, really, really good to be here with you. My name is Ayokunmi. Tega Supreme is also with me. We are doing supreme justice to what's been going on in the world of sports. Please do join us and let us know your thoughts on the issues on the ground. Round of 16 of the AFCON is coming up. Super Eagles against Mozambique. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? How do you see that game going? We want to hear everything. WhatsApp number, it's 0911-999-0981. 0911-999-0981. Also join us on YouTube where we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments. Trust me, I will get to each and every single one. All right, let's talk tennis really very quickly. And an excited Naomi Osaka will lean on family ties as she leads Japan in Friday's opening day at the United Cup in Australia, kicking off her season with a testing clash against former world number 3, Maria Sakkari.
Yeah, so like I said, the tennis season is long. Everybody has traveled, and Naomi Osaka says she has family in with her in Australia, so that will help her through the season, being away from home in America, and then of course trying to help her country push in the United Cup. Remember, the United Cup is a country thing. Yeah, United States of America are the defending champions. But Japan starts today taking on Greece. So let's see how it pans out for them. But yes, very tough season ahead. And the first thing we are going to look at, because this is in preparation to the Australian Open, remember, that starts later this
Exactly.
month. Just in case people forgotten how early the tennis season starts. So let's see how all players come back from their Christmas holiday. Fortunately for them, they are the ones weighing themselves. It's not Pep Guardiola that's stopping them at the door. But let's see how they come back into this one. Stronger physically or stronger mentally or both.
It's going to be an interesting start to the tennis season, which I still feel it's, man, January 2nd, you're already back on the grind. Wow. Anyways, let's get back into the world of football and talk about one of the big ones that came to light yesterday, and that is the fact that Enzo Maresca has left his role as Chelsea head coach after 18 months in charge. The Premier League club announced on Thursday. Maresca out. Where next for Chelsea? Tega.
So this was very interesting. I already knew, he'd been alluding to it that there's some background politics going on, and for, you know how Chelsea is. Chelsea is very political. There's no politics in the locker room. There's politics in the boardroom. Such a political club. He already alluded to it, lack of support. I was like, but there are people at the stadium now. There are people shouting all over Lagos, Nigeria. But it was also if the noise was really coming from inside the house, the phone was ringing from inside the house, there was some background battle going on about whether he should stay, whether he should leave. Now, they will throw some statistics out to you. He has won one in the last 7 Premier League games. They will throw those stats to you. 2 of the last 14 in all competitions, or 2 of the last 9 in all competitions. They will give you numbers. But the truth of the matter is, somebody somewhere was just not happy with the way he was responding. There were talks about how one of his grouses was the medical department. They
Okay.
wanted autonomy to determine when players will be able to play for him. So they'll take the
Hmm.
decision and they'll come and tell him. I thought that's not right. It's because even if you know your job as a medical person, the coach should be in on it, and the coach should be able to also talk to his players. So that's the one. There was also, I even heard rumor that his agent met with Manchester City. Now that one
Yeah,
did
there were
my
talks
head
of
in.
that.
Yeah, that one did my head in. But you also have to remember that Pep Guardiola signed only a 2-year extension at City. And this is the second season of that 2-year extension. So, like play, Manchester City stray bullets just came out to the public. That Manchester City may be looking for a coach. Because remember, it was after Pep Guardiola signed the 2-year extension that his divorce that happened.
Hmm.
Almost like his wife was like, "We are not staying in this Manchester for 2 more years." so there is that issue. That talk, I think, will come out eventually. But yes, it was a lot of politics going on, and I don't think it was just the results on the pitch that brought out to this one. But yes, clearly Enzo Maresca was done with the club, and the club was done with him. So both of them have parted ways. He leaves having won the FIFA Club World Cup and the Conference League. You win the trophies that are placed in front of you. So he's out. The question is, who is now in? I hear they're looking to the Strasbourg coach because it's easier to just transfer. It's the same company that owns him
Hmm.
anyway. So it's
Right,
easier to
right,
just
right.
transfer. But he's
And
just one of the names on the list.
and Strasbourg is like Chelsea extension already anyway, so
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
slots in. Huh. All right.
So let's
And
see how it goes.
all right, let's talk about some games that came up last night in the Premier League. And Manchester City, they were held to a goals draw thanks to an incredible rearguard performance by Sunderland to fall 4 points behind leaders Arsenal in the Premier League title race.
Yeah, so this was a tough one. It was always going to be a tough one for Manchester City against Sunderland. Sunderland is the second other team in the Premier League that haven't lost at home, and for a team that just came up from the Championship and then bought 16 new players, the way they blended like stew is amazing.
Nobody
It didn't
expected
take a
that.
while. No, I don't think anybody expected that. They're seventh on the table, just 1 point behind Manchester United, who are in sixth and could have been in top four if they had won their match. So, a completely shocking result from Sunderland. And the game started that way. Manchester City threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at them, but had only one shot on target. With all the possession that they had one shot at goal, one shot on target in that first half. Sunderland, on the other hand, with I think they were 30-something% ball possession. They had two shots. In fact, they tested Manchester City more than Manchester City tested them. They saw Donnarumma more than you know
Imagine
Manchester
that.
City. Imagine that. That's how when you say low block, when you say defense, they were so compact. Every time I looked at the coach, he kept pushing his hand closer, like stay compact, and that's what they did. They frustrated Manchester City, and then they had opportunities where they could have put the ball in the back of the net against Manchester City. So it was a brilliant performance by them. But yes, they were able to shave 2 points off Manchester City. And remember, they had already shaved 2 points off Gunners, so no discrimination. If you're a top club, you are dropping something for them at the bus stop. They are like the Agueros of the Premier League now. So yeah, they were able to shave 2 points. Brilliant 1 point by Sunderland, but tough 2 points dropped by Manchester City because now they are 4 points behind Arsenal. And guess where Manchester City is going to next? Yes, their match is against Chelsea.
Chelsea, who
Yes,
don't have the
so
manager, by the way.
who don't have this. So this week, and again, look, Chelsea can be a dangerous side when they are bouncing back, especially if some of the rumors are also true. I hear that so far the only player that has said goodbye to Maresca is Kukurea.
Wow.
So some players too may have been involved in the politics going on in that club. You see, that's the thing I don't like about Chelsea. You don't know who is your enemy and who is your friend.
Things are definitely happening.
Things are definitely happening. So it's Chelsea, Manchester City this weekend. It's not going to be an easy fixture because, first of all, Pep Guardiola doesn't even know who he's preparing against. You don't know what style they are going to play. You don't know how they are going to show up. So preparation will be hard. You just only prepare on your playing your game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend with Manchester City and Chelsea. Manchester City looking to bounce back and get all 3 points and keep the hunt on Arsenal down. And remember, they have Aston Villa right on their doorstep. And then exactly. And then Chelsea with no manager yet deciding how they're going to play a top club like Manchester City. It sets up for an interesting fixture for the neutrals. Buy your chin chin.
Doesn't get any easier. Doesn't get any easier. All right, so yeah, very quickly, let's just take a look at the Serie A title race. It's interesting what's going on there. New Year kicks off with 4 points, separating the top five in the Serie A with Inter, AC Milan, Napoli, Roma, and Juventus all with a chance at the title.
Yes, so this weekend, Italian Serie A is back. Also, Spanish La Liga is back this weekend. So some interesting fixtures there. But yeah, the Scudetto battle is definitely the musical chairs there. Everybody's dancing around. Cagliari starts against AC Milan tonight, so that sets the tone for how the weekend goes. And then it sets up for an interesting weekend. But yes, at the end of this weekend, somebody else could be at the top of the Serie A table. That's what makes this Scudetto battle very interesting. So yes, Italian Serie A starts. Also, we will be seeing La Liga starting, and Mbappe may be out with a knee injury. So how does Real Madrid come back to that? All of that and more to be found out this weekend. But yes, let's take their thoughts and then we'll come back and wrap up the show.
Alrighty, let's take your messages. A number of thoughts have come in here. Felix from Mende, Maryland, Lagos. Good morning to you, Felix, and happy weekend on the horizon. He says the fixtures this weekend will be very interesting. I hope Real Madrid prevail over Real Betis. Well, from your lips to the ears of the Lord. Taya says FIFA can intervene in Gabonese football, but not CAF that is extending AFCON by 4 years. Tanzania be like, we serve a living God. Yes, they do. If Chelsea can sack Maresca ahead of Man United over Amorim, it goes to show you who the better coach is, Ayo. Support that man and his ambition to make Man United great again. Watch your back outside. Let's watch your back outside. Chelsea political party should be ready for 2027. Somebody say power or Stamford Bridge, or maybe both at this point. I don't know. Stan says, my only problem in that team, that's the Super Eagles, is the commander-in-chief of the goalkeeping department and maybe our bench also. Wishing them good luck, even though we aren't expecting much from them. They won 3 from 3 now, Stan. How they exceeded expectations? Come on. Who will believe Maresca would leave before Amorim? What God cannot do does not exist.
Does not exist?
Yeah, now, wow, leave Amorim alone now. Big E in K2 says, when the new year has begun and a certain world champion is going through a traumatic experience of 2025 into 26, all I can see for them is Ekbele. I knew very well that Sunderland will not lose to Man City at the Stadium of Light, even with Rodri coming into the game. Arsenal do not fail this season. We shall see. May is still far. Mohammed says, Tega, no be rumor that he was talking to Man City through his agent, Mendes. They confirmed it on ESPN. Okay. Thank you for that. This is from Ibukun, who says, Ibukun Ketu says, Happy New Year, Ayon Tega. Happy New Year to you too. Why does Gabon have to disband the team when they can just not call up the current players again? Now, God will help Nigeria with that, our goalkeeper. We need to organize prayer sessions for a new generation of keepers. As for Maresca, it's a case of two fighting. He did well, but they have irreconcilable differences. Okay. Gilbert Musa and Festac, good morning to you, Gilbert. On the Nigeria-Mozambique tie, the Eagles need to be sensitive about that match. The reason, in AFCON 2013, Burkina Faso surprisingly became a team to beat with with an unexpected skillful play that took them all the way to the finals. True, true. Tohib, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us. Let me go to YouTube real quick, take a number of your thoughts here. This is from Padre Pio, who says Guardiola and City decided to give the title race to the pretenders. Now it's for Arsenal to bottle it as always. What's with Maresca and Chelsea, club champions, and they sack you? Now, wow. And he says, oh, yes, Gabon is playing with the suspension. I'm certain FIFA sees this as government interference. They will recant if they know what's good for them. LK, how far? Adewale
Yeah.
Akibami says, as tricky as Mozambique can be, we should beat them. In fact, the target is the semi-final for the coach, yeah? Okay. And LK is here. He says, I don't even know what to say today. Happy New Year, locker room gang. Chelsea should do whatever they want to do. They cannot stress me more than the New Year tax law. Super Eagles to go all the way. And Ralph Abimbola says, this is when Arsenal goes on a run of wins. City's draw against Sunderland has given us an opportunity to play with less tension. When I play with tension, we still City. That's what I will say. All right, time to wrap
Exactly.
it up.
Cities like a Kenyan masquerade. The
Mm.
longer you run, the more they have advantage. All right. On that note, we want to thank you so much for sending your messages via WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming on YouTube, and thank you for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the first locker room of 2026. Welcome
Oh,
back. Welcome
yes.
back. Welcome one and all. All right. Remember, this weekend is back again, and your clubs are in action. So pray that your team is not fodder for banter. On that note, have a fantastic weekend.
Have a great weekend, Tega. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the show on Monday. And thank you all for listening and being a part of the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. You are very much appreciated. The Smooth Breakfast will kick on most definitely on a Friday, Feel Good Friday, first weekend in the year. My name is Ayokunmi Kikirieko. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1.
Umo,